Hey, this is Matthew. Today I'm talking about how in every conversation you find yourself in, every interaction with someone, every situation that you go into, you're preconceived to notice certain things over others. And this has a massive impact on the way that you experience that situation, what you take out of it, and how much you learn. And in this video, I'm going to talk about how you can shift your listening or what you're noticing so that you're going to notice what's going to be more helpful to you in any particular situation. If you're new here, my name is Matthew, and my goal is to share practical life advice on things I'm working on myself, so you can join me for the journey of self-discovery. So let's get right into it. Whether you notice it or not, every single time you have any conversation or are doing basically anything at all, you're predisposed to notice or pay attention to certain things over others. And this is really prevalent in things like family gatherings. So when my family caught up for a Zoom session online not too long ago, I think we weren't really clear on why we were there. We kind of wanted to hang out, but that was kind of all we were clear on. And I was reflecting on it afterwards and realizing, what we were actually there for was connection. We were there to build connection as a group and there to build our relationships between each other because we haven't seen each other for a while. And because we weren't oriented to connection consciously, we probably didn't have as a connected of a time together as we could have had. Another example of how we notice certain things over others was really prevalent in my conversation with a good friend of mine, Philip, not too long ago. We were talking about LinkedIn, and I said, every single time I get a message on LinkedIn, I just automatically assume that it's spam because I seem to have 1,000 recruiters always constantly trying to sell me their recruiting services on there. And I realized that even if someone genuinely was sending me a good message on LinkedIn about something that was valuable or I did care about, I'm going to completely ignore that. My listening, what I'm observing, is very narrow. I've kind of written off the entire platform as spam. Now, that's probably an overreaction. Now I've kind of realized that I can kind of reassess. But if I really think about it, I do think most of the messages I get on LinkedIn are spam. And in considering this, what I've realized is that I need to take a more deliberate decision to context that I'm going into. So I'm doing this program I mentioned last week, Building a Second Brain, and there's lots of lessons and there's lots of interactions and lots of stuff going on. And over the first few weeks, I noticed that I wasn't really I was getting a lot of content, but I wasn't really applying it to my life in the way that I was looking to do. It was only on reflection a few days ago that I realized that I wasn't observing it with the lens of how does this apply to me? How does this apply to me? That's what I really would have liked to be predisposed to. So when I shifted that framing or that way I'm trying to look at the course, suddenly everything becomes much more relevant because I'm asking myself the question all the time, how is this relevant for me? How do I implement this? What's something I can take away and apply today? What's an experiment I can run today about this? I did a video about experiments last week you can have a look at as well if you're interested. And just reframing the lens and how I'm looking at content I'm absorbing or situations I find myself in and being conscious of what is it that I'm wanting to get out of this, it really makes a big difference in how much I enjoy it, how much I'm engaged, and ultimately how valuable it is for me. And it also really highlights things that aren't of value. So for example, I find that if I'm opening Instagram or Facebook, 99.999% of the time, the reason I'm doing it, if it's not to message a friend, it's to distract myself from what I'm feeling like emotionally at the time, or distract myself from actually doing something of value, or distract myself from something. When I open Instagram, the question I've now got in my head is, what am I avoiding? What am I avoiding by opening Instagram? What am I avoiding by opening Facebook? Because that's what I found I'm doing. Now, maybe down the track, I open Facebook because I really want to see what's going on. But right now, that's not the case. So I want to be careful about when I am opening it, what am I actually avoiding? And how can I engage with that avoidance a bit more? So I've hoped I have sparked you to think a bit differently about what lens you're using when you're coming into a certain situation. What question have you got in your head that you can ask yourself around your level of engagement with whatever it is that you're doing? For me, my key takeaways that I'm working on at the moment is when I'm having family conversations, it's about connection. When I'm doing learning, it's about applicability to my own life. And when I'm online, it's what's the real purpose for me being here on this platform right now. You might also be interested in my email newsletter. I send it out every Sunday. So there's a link in the description if you'd like to sign up for that. And I really look forward to seeing you in the next video. So have a great week, and the journey continues.